Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, I'm gonna be doing something a bit special that I always wanted to do. I've been putting it off here and there, but I finally just pushed myself to finalize this, and basically what we're gonna be doing is Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening, Princess or Hime tier list. Now, this is a second take of the video because the first take of the video um I explain the whole scoring and explanation for every single one of them. And let's just say there's 60 princes in game. There's 60. And I explain my reasoning, things like that. And when I reach the 15 princes, that's already 30 minutes. 30 minutes just explaining 15%, and then thinking that there will be 60, I decided to scrap that video and do this tag instead. So I won't be explaining each and every single one of them one by one, but but I will explain the criteria and the caveats in my scoring. I will also put this Excel sheet that I use for the scoring in the pinned comment, most likely. And so you can either check it out yourself, change it, things like that. So yeah, without further ado, let's first show you the criterias. If you take a look at this Excel sheet, let me zoom in. So basically, there's a total score of 20, with the minimum scoring that you will get is 4. So as you can see here, the 4 criteria is the pictures, story, game, and availability. Now, the first criteria, the picture, it's definitely subjective based on my own taste and what I like and what I don't like. But I do take into account things like uh, how old the picture is, or whether the picture suits the theme of the princess, things like that. So definitely I tried my best to keep it objective, but it's definitely subjective. Let's just face it. It's about rating girls' picture, visual. So definitely a lot of people may agree or disagree regarding the picture, I guess. Picture rating. Now the story. The story, now you could argue I should have rated purely based on the biography. That, okay, let me show you real quick. You could argue that I should rate the story purely based on the biography provided by Koei, but at the same time, that doesn't do them justice. But also, I don't know exactly everyone's story, so there's definitely a lot of, you can see someone score very high, you could also see someone score very low. For example, Ogu. Now, if you just read her bio, it's just, you know, daughter of Nagamasa and Oichi. She married Hidetada and gave birth to the third shogun of the Edo shogunate. But like there was a book that I read, a story that explains her life a bit more. Like she has a daughter with a Toyotomi. Not, I think that Toyotomi guy is just adopted and not actual Hidetsugu or uh, not actual Hideyoshi Toyotomi lineage, you could say, family, but it's still a Toyotomi, right? Like she literally have a daughter with Toyotomi, but then she also gave birth to a son, the third shogun, literally, the shogun of Tokugawa. And then, there's the relationship with Chacha too. She's her sister. So, because I know a lot of story about her, I gave her a story like a 5 or a 4 in terms of rating. So yeah, there's that kind of caveat that you need to think about. Like, uh, okay, I actually kind of fuck up there. It should be 5 and 3. Okay, maybe later on if you check this Excel sheet later, spreadsheet, might be some mistake, but I think overall everything should be good. Like that one, it's just swap between story and game ability. Okay, up next is the game ability, which, I don't have to explain too much about it. It's basically the overall stats and also the tactics, traits, overseer, conservator, things like that. Like, I think one easy way to show is like Sen. Sen, her status not that great, probably average, but she has a team, something going for her, like guns, like gunnery overseer, elite musketeer, gunnery, rapid assault. So that kind of ability, I boost the rating up a little bit because like I see a team and how that character supposed to work, as an officer. So I give it a higher score. But then, of course, there's also characters like, for example, Komatsu. Okay, Komatsu in this example, like she has high stats, things like that. She's just by stat and maybe impregnable. She's already a 5, but then if you have gold traits, that's easy 5. So Ginchio, no, actually, Ginchio doesn't have a gold traits, right? Oh, I think like Oichi, Komatsu, like, and then Kicho, they have, you know, they have gold traits in game, unique traits, so that's immediately 5, just purely because of the trait. If you have that gold trait, 5 immediately. Uh, you may argue about it, but I feel like if you have a unique trait, since there's only 60 princes, if you have a unique trait, which like there's three princes have unique trait, you should immediately get a score of 5 in terms of your ability. So yeah, take into account like things like that. Like for example, another example is Achalini. She has super solid stats here, high leadership, high intelligence and politics, but then it matches her biography like intellect and then diplomacy with the Toyotomi at the Siege of Osaka. So eloquence makes sense, and then the tactic confuse. Even if it's not confused, it's as long as it's something related to intelligence, which is her highest stats, not highest, but I mean a high stats of her, I would give you a better ability score, game score. So yeah, and then the final criteria is availability. Now, availability is basically how often you would be able to use her or see her in game in your runs, which I mostly base it off with the age. So if you go in game and then let's say edit, for example, Zukain. If you check her age thing, she basically starts at Musket Arrive and then she exists all the way till Kyushu Conquest, even like 1590 she dies, so there's that. But at the same time, I don't know whether it's just me or is it Koei. Like I feel like they don't spawn in as a Ronin or even as an officer sometimes. So even though she says she died at basically Kyushu Conquest is her last scenario, I feel like sometimes they don't even appear in like a dream faithful class. They don't even show up. I don't know, maybe it's just me or I just don't found them. I don't find them. But I feel like there's often times where even though their lifespan should have them exist in this scenario, for example, faithful class, I just don't see them. That's something to think about. But then there's also things that you have to think, like for example, the underage part. Like sometimes even though they're not 16 years old or 15, like maybe they're still 9 years old, I think. Sometimes they can spawn in game, like they can show up and you can use them as officer or you can marry them. I think some officer have that going, some princess have that going for them. So there's that. So I'm not sure whether Yoshihime is one of them, but you could think of it like even though she's still a kid in conquering Owari, I feel like there's a chance that she already showed up as a kid and you can use her as a character. So yeah, you also need to take into consideration of underage thing in availability. As I mean, let's say Yoshihime shows up in 1553, even though she's underage in 5051, for example. uh I mean, it's just in 2 years time you will see her in your run. So underage thing, things like that, you definitely need to take into account. So yeah, that's basically the four criteria. And then again, each criteria the max score is 5. So in total you can get 20. And then if you are if you score 17 to 20, you're S tier. If you score 13 to 16, you're A tier. If you score 9 to 12, I think, you're B tier. And then if you score 5 to 8, no, 6 to 8, you're C tier. And then if you're below 6, which is 4 or 5, you're D tier. So yeah, that's the criteria and scoring that I use. And now let's go to the tier itself. On D tier, the only princess in D tier. Now I could probably bump her score here and there somewhere, but with a score of 5, it's Jokein. Sadly, Jokein, you're the only princess in D tier, which, someone needs to be there, right? So, Jokein, I'm very sorry, but you're in D tier. Okay. Okay. You know what? I think I'm gonna be doing something real quick. Hold on a second. There you go. Let's do that. And okay, that should be good. Yep. There you have it. Just so that it's easier for us to see. And then I'll also put the axle right on the right side. Amateur hours here, please. Sorry for this. Amateur hour showing up. Hmm. Okay, this should be good now. Yep, there you have it. Think you should be able to see it now. Okay, there you go. Again, sorry for that. Amateur, as always. Not the best. uh, so now going to sit here, we have Nene. We have Nene with the score of C6. And then Obayan Takeda with 6 C tier. Ome Sanada, Yukimura's daughter, is also another 6. Then there's Rei Shoin, 8 score. Lady Saigo, Toku Ieyasu concubine, is a 7. And then Senhime, which is Hideyori Toyotomi wife, and then the daughter of Hidetada and Ogo, she scores 8. Up next for the B tier, which as you can already see a little bit, I feel like, yep, can totally see a slight bit. So the B tier, there's a lot of them in B tier, as you can see. First, there's Dota Lady, Nobunaga's mom. Just so you're not confused, it's basically left to right based on alphabetical. So there's Dota Lady, Fuyuhime is B, Kikuhime, Kagekatsu's wife, Kitsuno, Nobunaga concubine, Kushihashi Teru, Kanbei's wife, Lady Cat, Neko Izaka, Masamune's concubine. There's Matsuhime, Nobutada's betrothed, Shingen's daughter that they divorced basically because the whole Oda Takeda war. And then there's Muramatsu Lady, Sanada. There's Myokyu Kikawa, which is Motonari Mori wife. There's Lady Myoren. There's Nyoshuni, Kenyo's wife. There's Ogo. There's Ohorisuru. She's an interesting character. I really recommend you look her up, I guess. And then there's Fukusaito. Oh yeah, Fukusaito. She's Toshimitsu Saito daughter, the one with Akechi. And she somehow make her way into, like, you know, a very important position of the wet nurse of Iemitsu Tokugawa. So she's basically almost like a mother to the shogun too. And then there's Sanjo Lady. Her story feels like very sad. Just reading her story, I feel bad for her. Like, come on, Shingen, what the fuck are you doing, man? You have this lady, super hot, sexy lady, and you fumble the bag, making her cry. There's Senahime, Kameju Shimazu, Suisin, Motochika's wife, Suahime, Katsuyori's Takeda mother. There's the two Tokuhime. This is the Oda Tokuhime, the one that gets Ieyasu's son killed, the Nobuyasu Matsudaira, because she reported him for colluding with Takeda. And then there's the Tokuhime, that's Ieyasu's daughter. She is married to the Hojo, then the Hojo thing happened, so she remarries later on. Sumaki Hiroko is Mitsuhide's wife. She's very loyal girl. That's all I could say. Then there's Asahi Ukita, another warrior lady. Very rare that you get warrior princesses, you know. So up next is A tier. Okay, A tier, there's quite a lot of them. Let's see, can I get it in one screen? There you go. So okay, yeah, there you go. You already see the S tier actually, sadly. Spoiler alert, but okay. First up, you get Lady Acha, Chacha, Onamidate, Gracia, Hikosuru, Komatsu, Sen, then Okuni, which is the originator of Kabuki dance, Jukeini, the lady daimyo, Yoshimoto's wife. Oh, no, mother, holy shit, Yoshimoto mother. Then there's Katakura Kita, Kojuro and Tsunamoto Oniwa sister, and also the nurse of Masamune. Then there's Matsu, Toshie Maeda wife, Megohime, Masamune wife, Mochizuki Chiyojo, basically a ninja for Shingen. Of course, we got our girl Kai, Narita Kai. There's Hideyoshi wife Nene, Jakonomata, Hosokawa Yusai wife. Then there's Ohatsu, another daughter of Nagamasa and Oichi. There's Osen, Otsuya lady, Sentoin, Ginchio. Now you may be surprised that Ginchio is a. There's a reason for that. The if you want to know or you want to argue that she should be S, just hit me up on Discord or something. Again, I could explain it here, but the video gonna be too long if I explain everything. Even now it's already 20 minutes long. So I'm trying to save time. Then there's Yamanote lady. I think this is Masayuki's wife. Yeah, Masayuki's another wife. Then there's Yamauchi Chiyo, Miorin Yoshioka. I really wish Koei put an event to showcase her story because it's pretty cool. Then there's the Hojo Imagawa ladies. Zoshunin, you know, she's the she's Hojo, but she marries Ujizane. And then there's Zuikein. She's Imagawa, that she marries Ujiyasu. So, and she's Zoshunin mom. So these two are related. Yeah, and they finish off the A tier. Finally, the S tier. You know what? For the S tier, I will explain because there's only four, and they are S tier, so they deserve to be explained in depth. And they're special. Okay, so first up is Kicho. Kicho, picture-wise, immediately 5, and not just because of the deluxe edition picture, even just the normal picture. This is already a 5 for me, but then they need to show me this. They need to give this to us. This is a 10. 10 out of 10. See, probably even beyond S tier, just for this picture. Okay, now back. Enough dicking around. Back to the actual ratings. So Kicho, she is, you know, picture 5 story. I give her a 4 because as much as we all know the whole Nobunaga and Kicho's marriage thing, and then the dagger thing that like Dosan telling Kicho to kill Nobunaga if he's truly a fool, things like that. But I feel like basically that's all the story about Kicho. Maybe there's the whole uh Dosan's death and then Kicho becomes a bit sad, things like that. But you know, like literally in Koei game itself, like in outside sources, like there's the manga Nobunaga Kyosokyu, Nobunaga Concerto, that's fictional, but they showcase the possibility of Kicho Nobunaga relationship a bit more. But yeah, basically in Koei game itself, other than Samurai Warrior, I think, like in Nobunaga's Ambition, the Kicho story kind of end after their marriage and then Dosan's death. Then she kind of just there in the army, not doing anything much. No story, no nothing. So I give it a 4. Ability wise, she has Oath of the Dagger. So that's a unique trait. So immediately 5. And then availability wise, she actually exists for a long time in many scenarios. So she's a 5. She's the highest scoring with 19 S tier. And then we got our best girl, Naotorali, picture 5. Now some may not like the tomboyish look, but I feel like they struck the right balance of tomboy with elegance and maturity feminism, feminine look on Naotora. So that's a 5 for me. Then we also have Oichi. Oichi is an easy 5 picture wise. Picture wise, and then Yoshihime, she's still S tier, but I kind of don't like how she looks. So Yoshihime is a 4. Now story wise, Yoshihime is a 5. Like holy shit, the amount of events in game about her. Just that, she's a 5. She putting Terumune, Masamune, and Yoshiaki Mogami in their place. The demon princess of all. And then for Oichi, it's the sad story. She loves Nagamasa, but then she loves her brother, Nobunaga. There's the back of Hazuki Beans thing, story-wise, that helped Nobunaga realize about Kanegasaki, the betrayal, I think. And then she lost her husband. Then Nobunaga dies. She marries Katsue. Get get cocked, Hideyoshi. You're not touching Oichi. Fuck you. So yeah, there's that whole story about Oichi. And then her daughters, Ohatsu, Chacha, and Ogo, Gohime. Her story is a 5. Naotora, story-wise, Naotora, definitely a 5. Female daimyo, things like that. Although there's the whole thing that Naotora probably is a male, not an actual female. There's that theory. But I'll Naotora is the best girl in my heart. So, you know, 5 story wise. Okay, game ability wise. Uh Uichi is a 5 purely because of you know, the traits. And okay, actually I think there's another. Oh yeah, Kai. Kai has a gold trait. Okay, for some reason I didn't put. Oh no, no, no. I did give Kai 5 in her rating. Okay, what the fuck am I talking about? Okay, Oichi gold trait, so ability 5 immediately. Now Otora, I mean, do I need to say about Naotora? Like, Naotora, her package is amazing, Like, Convious, Reputation, Eagle-Eyed, super solid stats all around. Like, that's a 5. This is a, this is like, even if this is not a princess and an ordinary male character, this is definitely a 5. I mean, if you don't compare it to the truly god tier officers, like Naomasali, Yukimura Sanada, things like that. This is a 5. So yeah. And then availability wise, Naotora sadly died pretty quickly. She died basically at Honoji. Yep, Fateful Clash. She died at 43, sadly. And she starts pretty early, Brotherly Fall. And probably you can see her even if you play Conquering Owari or Nobunaga is here. So yeah. Naotora, S tier. And ability wise, a 5. Now, and then Yoshihime. I do like Yoshihime. She's basically a warrior, things like that. She has a team, but not as good as the other, so her game ability wise is a 4. Her availability, I give it a 4. I mean, if I drop it to 3, you could argue it's a 3, but then if I put it at 3, she drops from S tier to A tier, which, you know, I'm not gonna do that. I feel like 4 people on S tier is good. So yeah, that's the S tier officers basically. Okay, so here you have it. This is my tier list for Nobunaga's Ambition Princess, basically. Uh, you could argue whether you agree or not. Again, I I feel like you will disagree with some of it if you just look at the spreadsheet and the placement and the ratings. But but if you really want to argue, you could always comment down below or just hit me up on Discord. I'll argue with you. We'll discuss, not argue. Argue sounds bad. We'll discuss about it, my reasoning and things like that. So yeah, definitely this is a very scuff video, but I'm very tired. I'm already talking for almost 2 hours now with the failed video try that I did where I explain every single one by one. My voice is already hurting, my throat. Now, on a side note, if you want to see the true princess tier list, it's this one. The Gooning tier list. This is purely based on how I like they look. This is to be honest, this is the only important list that matters. Out of all, just for fun, out of all the S tier, the five, the best looking one, in my opinion, I like, I would say my top five, okay? My top five. Oichi, Myokyu, Kicho, Fuyuhime. Damn, I cannot choose like Kitsuno, no. Zushunin, Zukeit, Naotora. I don't know. Okay, maybe something already obvious shown. The reason I really like Naotora, but I prefer long hair. So that's why she's not in my top 5. Sorry about that. If you want to be top 5, you need to have long hair for me. That's a requirement. So yeah, I mean, it's just for fun. This is the pure gooning tier list. The ones that I like the most picture-wise. So yeah, that's it for the princess tier list. Again, I did have an you know, actual criteria. I will link it down below, the Excel spreadsheet, and even this the tier list if you want to make your own. And I do hope you share it on the community channel just for fun. Either way, that's it for this video. Please do tell me if you want to see another tier list for me to do. Maybe I'll do another fun one, a more serious one where I explain things a bit more. You know, either way, all we need to do is have fun, right? Just keep having fun. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on the next Koei Romance of the Three Kingdom Princess tier list. Okay, no. I'm not gonna go down that hole yet. Maybe in the future, but for now, this is enough rating girls that I've done in my life. I I need to repent and go to church immediately. Anyway, thank you. Bye bye.